You're watching Tag TV.
Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that exposes Pakistan's role and nexus in promoting global terrorism and its funding. Here are the headlines. Encounter in Jammu and Kashmir leads to 5 militants being killed. And Indian diplomats facing harassment in Islamabad. An encounter in Halma-Patora forest area on March 20th culminated with Indian forces gunning down 5 terrorists who had infiltrated to Indian soil with an active assistance from Pakistan Army. Pakistan also targeted a residential area deep inside the Indian territory, killing 5 members of a family in Poonch district. Newsweek South Asia takes a look.
India lost its 2 bravehearts who resisted the dreadful Pakistan-backed terrorists for hours in a gun battle that broke out after insurgents who had come from across the border attacked a search party of Indian Army in Halman-Patora forest in Kupwara in Kashmir. It gathered substantial evidence to accuse Pakistan of its satanic designs that it has been engineering to infiltrate the terrorists from across the border to unleash mayhem and subvert the system. Pakistan, which has repeatedly been exposed at the international arena for its nexus with the deadliest of terrorists under the sun, has launched a multi-pronged attack against India. And following its diabolic designs, it has relentlessly been attacking the army and the police post to keep the forces engaged and infiltrate the terrorists into the valley through other routes. For decades, the inter-services intelligence that has failed to win Pakistan any conventional war against India has played an instrumental role in fomenting trouble for Kashmiris both at the border and the valley. It has been training, funding and arming terrorists in its own backyard and launching them against India.
It's a very major operation. 5 of our soldiers were martyred. It is true that a number of militants were also killed in this operation, and some are still hiding. Such operations were going on, by the time the report came. And this, the nature of this operation suggests the direct involvement of Pakistan intelligence and military establishment, because it was a major operation. It's not possible without the help of any intelligence agency. So Pakistan must have prepared it for a very long time, and they must have conducted recce, and they must have visited the place. The militant must have visited the place for several times before execution of this operation. And I believe the Pakistani military establishment is responsible for what is happening now in Jammu and Kashmir, and especially this operation. And public opinion has also turned against America in India. We have a democracy and people want government to take stronger action.
In another incident of Pakistan's brazenly inhuman and unprofessional act, its army targeted the civilian settlements in Kashmir, killing 5 members of the same family, including 3 children. Although Pakistani troops have never respected the 2003 ceasefire violation agreement and have restored to the unprovoked and indiscriminate firing and shelling from across the line of control, this is an unprecedented low they have stooped to. Pakistan has been continuously firing at the border without any provocations. Locals living in the Kashmir region are living under constant fear after indiscriminate firing has done massive damages to the lives and properties in the region.
मेरा स्कूल वो है संदौड़ सामने, तो ये रास्ता है हमारा जाने वाला, बहुत रिस्की एरिया है। यहाँ पर जब हम जाते तो हमें नहीं पता होता कि वापस आएंगे, तो मैं चाहता हूं कि गवर्नमेंट इस पर कुछ सुधार लाए, क्योंकि शेलिंग से, गोलाबारी से कुछ हल होने वाला नहीं है। आम लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, जो खासकर बच्चों का नुकसान हो रहा है। क्योंकि अभी सेशन स्टार्ट किया था हमने, क्लास वर्क शुरू हुआ था, लेकिन अब 2 दिन के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने बंद कर दिया है कि बालाकोट में 2 दिन स्कूल बंद रहेंगे। इसका लॉस बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है।
India has been retaliating and giving befitting reply to Pakistan at the line of control. It has done substantial reciprocal damage to Pakistani men and material against the unprovoked firing. Islamabad, the perpetrator of terror, has been pumping in huge amounts of money to religiously radicalize vulnerable youth of Kashmir against India and has been actively breeding anti-India sentiments among the local populace. It is a well-established fact that Pakistan is a leading sponsor of terror across the globe, and today it stands on the cusp of being declared a terror state, especially after it found itself on the watch list of terror financing countries issued by the Financial Actions Task Force.
Indian diplomats in Pakistan continue to face harassment and intimidation. New Delhi has sent yet another verbal note to Islamabad seeking an investigation into all these incidents. Newsweek South Asia takes a look.
According to sources, the note verbal cited 3 specific incidents of Indian diplomats being harassed in Islamabad on March 22nd. The vehicle of the Indian Deputy High Commissioner, while he was going to an embassy within the diplomatic enclave for a meeting, was aggressively followed by 2 people in a Toyota Corolla car, the sources said. The Indian naval attaché was also aggressively followed by a person on a motorbike while he was going to the Serena Hotel for a meeting. In a third incident, the second secretary political was aggressively followed and harassed by people at the Street 1 cafe within the diplomatic enclave while going there for an official meeting with another diplomat, a source said.
We have asked for immediate resolution of these issues faced by our High Commission in Islamabad so that the safety and security of the diplomatic mission and our diplomatic and consular officials is assured. We would like our mission to function normally without any obstruction or harassment in keeping with the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961.
The website of the Indian High Commission continues to be blocked, causing inconvenience and has affected normal functioning. Stating that the safety and security of the Indian mission, its officers and staff members and their family is the responsibility of the Pakistan government. The source said, "We have requested them to immediately investigate all these incidents and direct the relevant authorities to ensure that such incidents do not recur. Results of the investigations may be kindly be shared with the Indian High Commission."
He has been called back for consultations. Now, it is pretty normal for an ambassador, high commissioner in any country. For example, the resident ambassadors and high commissioner who are in India, they go back to their capital to hold consultations with the foreign office. So this is pretty normal and therefore and pretty routine also in nature.
Last week, Pakistan called back its High Commissioner to India, Sohail Mahmood, for consultation over alleged harassment of its diplomatic staff and their families in New Delhi. Following this, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar, during a weekly media briefing, said that the Indian High Commission in Pakistan was facing a litany of issues which have not been resolved for several months. "We have raised these issues in good faith through diplomatic channels and not through the media. We have asked for immediate resolution of these issues faced by our High Commission in Islamabad so that the safety and security of the diplomatic mission and our diplomatic and consular officials is assured," he said.
The manner and fashion in which our ambassadors and their families posted in Pakistan are being persecuted, harassed and prosecuted is also unprecedented and in contravention of the Vienna Convention. It's time that Pakistan stopped their theatrics of recalling their envoys and started on the path of peace and progress as also cohesion with its neighbors.
The website of the Indian High Commission continues to be blocked, causing inconvenience and has affected normal functioning. Stating that the safety and security of the Indian mission, its officers and staff members and their family is the responsibility of the Pakistan government. The source said, "We have requested them to immediately investigate all these incidents and direct the relevant authorities to ensure that such incidents do not recur. Results of the investigations may be kindly be shared with the Indian High Commission."
It's time now for a break. After the break, Kabul city rocked by suicide bomber, 33 Shia killed. And US says Pakistan must do more to end terrorism. And after the break, in Afghanistan, the capital city of Kabul was rocked yet again as a suicide bomber detonated himself outside Karte Sakhi shrine. The attack happened during the celebration of the Persian New Year, Navroz. We have a report.
People celebrating the festival of Nowruz in the capital city of Kabul were in for an unpleasant surprise when a suicide bomber blew himself up in the premises of Karte Sakhi shrine in the Shiite populated area of the city. The militant group Islamic State, which has claimed several previous attacks on Shiite targets, claimed responsibility, saying the attack specifically targeted Shiites celebrating Nowruz, a celebration of the start of spring and the Persian New Year.
ساعت 12 بجه امید 6 بودیم همینجا بسیار یک گرم میموت قوی کرد انفجار مگم بسیار نفر همینجا افتید بیچاره دیگه همین چیزایی که بود کل گریخت این طرف و طرف دیگه باز پلیس یک 10 دقیقه بعدش آمد جمع کرد جنازه رو.
داخل شفاخانه بودم بسیار صدای بلند بود دفعتاً هم تکان داد کل جای بعد از اینجا که دیدیم که داخل شفاخانه بخش جرایش نفرا را هم زخمی زیاد آوردن هم کشته زیاد آوردن.
Kabul had been on alert for attacks over the Nowruz holiday marking the start of the Persian New Year, but the bomber was still able to detonate his explosive as people were leaving the Karte Sakhi shrine in the west of the city. A sharp spike has been witnessed in the number of sectarian attacks in Kabul, with Shia minorities bearing the brunt of the increasingly devastating attacks of the predominantly Sunni Islamist insurgents.
نفهمیدیم که چی رقم افتیدیم کل ما بیشتر از بسیار نفر افتیده بودم اونجا.
A fragile security of Afghanistan has been unable to contain the rapidly rising violence in the country. At least 200 people have died in Kabul alone in this year, owing to a spate of attacks launched by growing IS affiliate in the region and the resurgent Taliban. Ill-equipped security personnel of the country have turned out to be mere messengers of sad news.
از محفل آمده بودن به طرف خانه های خود می رفتن و با خوشی و خوشحالی می رفتن در بین ازا که تماما ملکیت بان انتحار کرده و یک تعداد وطندارای ما را به شهادت رسانده.
Rising number of explosions underlines and exposes the vulnerability of the city that has witnessed several militant attacks in the recent past. Hundreds have lost their lives despite the US-backed government promising to tighten the security after the January attack that killed more than 100 people. The Afghani Taliban has been causing problems in the state of Afghanistan and is continuously backed by Pakistan, who trains the militants and encourages the attacks and blasts to destabilize the country.
The United States recently said Pakistan needs to do a lot when it comes to wiping out terrorist sanctuaries on its soil. On the other hand, the Afghan Taliban, which works as a strategic asset of the neighboring Pakistan, has accepted to talk to the United States, but is reluctant to speak to the Afghan government. Newsweek South Asia takes a look.
The United States Department spokesperson Heather Nauert, while addressing a weekly press briefing, said that Pakistan has to do more to address the continued presence of terrorism in Pakistan. She explained that Washington is looking forward to Islamabad's assistance in Afghan peace talks and a greater role in stabilizing the South Asia region.
And we've certainly seen Pakistan take some positive steps in the right direction, but a lot more needs to be done in terms of Pakistan cracking down not just on the Taliban, but the Haqqani network and other terror networks as well.
The United States and Afghanistan have long blamed Pakistan for harboring militants and terrorist groups on its territory. Early in January, Washington announced the suspension of all security aid to Islamabad for failing to tackle militancy in the region. Pakistan maintains it has done a lot and is being used as a scapegoat by the US for its failures in Afghanistan. The Afghan Taliban has accepted to be a part of the peace talk, the reason being the Donald Trump administration has come down hard on Taliban. The recent Asian policy of the Trump administration has led to many terrorists surrendering.
طالبان مشرتابه او هر طالب نن فیصله تاسو پلاس کی.
Commander of the US forces in Afghanistan, General John Nicholson, has said the United States recently held a series of private talks with Pakistani officials about the elimination of insurgent sanctuaries in Pakistan. He said the recent pressure applied to Pakistan has not resulted in the reduction of violence in Afghanistan. Referring to the peace process, Nicholson said that there is a possibility that some from Taliban will join the peace process, but warned that some others will never denounce the war.
There have been many high-level discussions.
چندین بحث به سطح بلند با مقام‌های پاکستانی داشته ایم. بسیاری از این بحث‌ها به گونه خصوصی برگزار شدند. از آغاز سال روان رئیس جمهور ترامپ کمک‌های نظامی را به پاکستان به حالت تعلیق درآورده است. ما از پاکستان می‌خواهیم که این پناهگاه‌ها را نابود سازد. اگرچه کارهای انجام شده‌اند، اما این کارها خشونت‌ها را در افغانستان کاهش ندادند.
Nicholson further added, alongside the military pressure holding the country's parliamentary polls and the upcoming conference of religious scholars in Indonesia are indicative of increased social and political pressure on the Taliban. Nicholson even added US President Donald Trump will also consider more steps to be taken against Pakistan. Afghan government has said rumors of it handing over parts of the country to the terror group Taliban as part of the peace process are completely untrue.
در یک جمله گفته میتونیم که تماما اهداف شوم دشمنان اهداف بزرگ دشمنان خنثی کردن.
While the Afghan government is hoping for peace, the security institutions still aim to continue their military offensive against the insurgents. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani recently hosted the Kabul process meeting where he offered a peace deal to the Taliban in a bid to get them to the negotiations table.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing into us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Chandan signing off on the behalf of entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye.
You're watching TAG TV.